I don't know. It's such a fascinating idea for a movie. Just this premise of putting it in this time period and not making, because like I feel like every time I watch something that's set in this era, like the only thing I can think of is like Batman Brave and the Bold. That show was good. It was entertaining, and even had a couple episodes that got kind of serious. But it's usually really lighthearted stuff whenever it calls back to this era of comic books, and that's not what this era was all the time. You know, it was certainly lighter than the stuff we got in the 80s and obviously now, but at the same time, the Silver Age was, like, shockingly different compared to what the Golden Age was.
And I think my favorite part about what it captures about the Silver Age, because I'm not really a Silver Age fan. I don't like a lot of Silver Age comics, but
yet you love Grant Morrison.
I do. I know, it's weird. But one of my favorite things about that era was that there was a very distinct focus on classic sci-fi literature and classic sci-fi art. Like, you don't have to go any further than Carmine Infantino and designing the second Flash costume with Barry. Like, there's clearly a lot of influence from classic literature there, and there's a very clear effort being made to make it more poppy, to make it more futuristic, and to make everything look a little bit sleeker. So translating that and making the whole premise of Justice League New Frontier something that's extremely nostalgic and a little bit political, and then evolving it into something that's a little bit more sci-fi, just like the way comics history goes, I think is fascinating.
Yeah, it's just a really smart idea. Like, you really get the sense that lightning struck with this, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
You know, I can totally imagine Cook was just kind of sitting around, like, maybe even reading old comics, and saw maybe one writer snuck in kind of like a jab at McCarthy or something, and then just totally ran with it.
Yeah, like, this is a passion project through and through. I know Dustin Dukaloops, this is his favorite comic of all time, and I can totally see it, because it's just so well handled. But at the same time, with every little nuance in the story, there's always a little element of, clearly Darwyn Cooke had some emotional feelings about this, or clearly this is representative of a period in his history, or something that he's wanted to talk about for years. There's portions where it feels like the guy's just kind of venting through superheroes, and that's amazing.